Our next inductee is Fred Feeney. I will tell you, right now, Fred is the most nervous guy in the room. Not because he has to give a speech, but because I reminded him that the guy with the microphone last always wins. Fred's an eternal prankster. Frank retired from officiating a couple years ago, and he happened to be doing his last Top Gun tournament at Alliance, refereeing, and our team was out there wrestling, and I was helping out. After one of the matches, Fred's at a table, he's got a rule book open up, and he's got 4 or 5 young coaches standing around him. And I walk by him, I go, 30 freaking years, and now you look at a rule book? I kept walking. These young coaches just looked at me, he's looking at me shaking his head, like, so I got that one, Fred. He's not allowed to tell you the one he got on me. Fred is a 30-year experienced official, 2-time past president of the Central District Officials Association, president and founder of Mid-States Wrestling Officials Association, the largest collegiate assigning association in the country. He's FILA certified and is retired from freestyle and Greco-Roman officiating in 2007. For 29 years as a certified official instructor, he does what he loves to do best, that's train new officials. For the past 16 years, he's conducted the innovative One Weekend Are You a Duck class. It is estimated that Fred has trained over 500 new referees. He hosts a cable television show called Matside. He's moderator of several wrestling forums. He's worked both scholastic and collegiate wrestling, having worked the NWCA Duels, Midlands, Cliff King Classic, and Las Vegas tournament and many Division I duels. He's worked the Big Ten, MAC, OAC, GLIAC matches, including 8 NWCA Nationals. Fred has served as an assigner and evaluator at the Senior Nationals and National Duels on numerous NCAA events. In 2019, he was inducted into the Ohio Officials Hall of Fame. Fred and his wife Marge reside in Dublin and are the parents of Michelle and Thomas. It's my honor to present for induction into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, Fred Feeney.
Oh my goodness. A prankster, come on. I've got stories on probably so many people in this room, and, but we won't go into those. Eric talked about passion and direction, and I just want to talk about that a little bit. So passion, Bob Triano, who can't be here tonight, I wanted Bob to be here. Bob is a member of the Hall of Fame as well. He's not feeling well today, but his wife and daughter are here as his representative. But when I was a freshman, my brother Bob, who's back there, and his wife Marianne, Bob wrestled. We didn't have middle school wrestling or anything, we just had wrestling. So when I came out, I remember Bob Triano talk about passion. He had to have passion for the sport. And I smoked and I drank, and the passion, what did I know about that? My freshman year, I had to pin a guy by the name of Pat Fickle to get a spot on the wrestling team. And I did, and as I'm pinning him, he's whispering in my ear, hey, I'm gonna beat your butt when this is all over. And he did. But that wasn't the last time that a Fickle was important in my life. And I'll tell you about that here in a second. But I want to thank the committee and these guys and everybody here, for everybody who's come out to everybody here tonight. I mean, what a great crowd this is. And my family and all my friends that are here, I think there's 4 or 5 tables here, are people at the Central District Wrestling Official Association. I appreciate all those guys. So for me, when I got done wrestling, I went to Ohio State to wrestle, and they expected you to go to class, I guess. You know? I had a 0.197 IQ my first quarter, and but that was because of wrestlers. They had me join a fraternity, and that didn't work out quite well. But ended up going to Vietnam as a present for that. But when I came back, I was in a bar one night, and I saw Pat Fickle, and Pat Fickle, who I had known and beat my ass years ago. He goes, hey, we're going to a wrestling match tonight, or a wrestling officials meeting. He was an official. He said, come be a wrestling official, come listen. It was at the Ohio School for the Blind, which we still meet there, which is funny to have too. And so I went, and I went to the school for the blind, and there were some guys that I knew, and I go, hey, this is pretty cool, I think I'll become an official. So we went back to the bar, and you know, I'm drinking, and I stayed longer, and, you know, did this and did that, and the next morning I got up, and I go, I can't, that's gonna take too much time from my drinking, I can't officiate, and I didn't. And by the grace of God, I did not become an official when I was still drinking and drugging. I've been sober now 38, 39 years, and I waited till after I got sober to become an official. Can you imagine, I mean, you guys have known me, can you imagine me drinking and drugging and being an official? Sweet God. And, but when I did that, the one thing I wanted is I wanted to emulate Bob Trono, because Bob Trono was such a force in my life, and he gave a damn, and that mattered to me. So when I became an official, Bob said, hey, get film, watch film, and bring the film to my house, and we'll put it in, and we'll watch it. So I said, oh, I would do that. So I had a match. First match ever was at Brook Park Middle School, and I was so proud of myself. I had my uniform on, and it was the middle school match. I thought it was the D1 National Finals myself. And I was so proud of what I did. I got in the car, and my daughter's sitting right over here, Michelle. And I was so happy with myself. My wife, Andrea, who passed away not many years ago, she goes, hey, why did you let that kid punch that kid in the nose the entire match? I said, what are you talking about? She goes, all he did was punch the kid in the face. Well, I remember there was blood, but I didn't remember why. And I guess I got to watch out for that. So I took the film over to Bob Trono's house, and Bob said, oh, come on in and put the tape in, and we put the tape in, and he made me bring a piece of paper and a notepad, and I do this to people that I mentor today. And he goes, now I'm going to tell you stuff, write stuff down. So I did, and we had, like, Jesus, got 150 things, I think, you know, in one little middle school match. He goes, stop doing that. Okay. And I left. And next match I had a night, or next night I had a match, and I come back to Bob's house. I put the tape in, and we put it in. The first thing, Bob goes, wait a minute. Didn't we talk about don't turn your back on the wrestlers? And I'm looking through my, he goes, yeah, I did. And it was like number 7 or something. He goes, so if you're not going to listen to me, get out. What? Get out? I don't have time to teach you if you're not going to listen to me. So get out. Okay. So I got my stuff, but I left. And Bob Trono, if anyone knows Bob, he's got one eye. And that's the evil. He gives you that evil eye, you will pee your pants. It's just, so I left. So a couple nights later, I come back and I have the VCR tape and I put it in, and Bob goes, okay. And I got all my notes here, and I'm thinking, oh shit, no, what did I forget? And we got down to about number 5. He goes, wait a minute. Didn't I tell you don't do this? Yeah, but get out. So I left. So what that made me do was every night when I had a match, I'd have to read not the rule book, but what Trono told me not to do. So I had this whole list of stuff, and that's what made me better, was his boot up my ass. So it's just the same thing that he did in high school for me. But he cared enough to put that boot up my ass. And I had the choice. I could have turned and said, hey, what are you doing? And be gone. But he gave a damn. So I would go with him to matches, and I'd go, and he'd yell at me, and he almost kicked me. We were up at, where's John Jeff Fire? We're up at Feeney, and Bob's right beside me, and I'm beside him. He said, don't get next to me again. You get next to me again, I'm going to kick you off the mat. Okay? But that's what I need. That's how I learn, is my boots up my ass. So, you know, I'm 72, and I still learn that way. I have tried to teach. There's a bunch of guys here that I've tried to, Trono told me a long time ago, hey dude, it's all about mechanics. If you look like you know what you're doing, people will think you do know what you're doing. And that's kind of where that are you duck thing If you look like a duck and act like a duck, talk like a duck, people think you're a duck. I even got a tattoo made when I was in, where the hell it was, got a tattoo of the duck that's on my leg. So I tell guys, if you look like an official, and act like an official, talk like an official, people will think you are one. So I fooled so many coaches out here by just looking the part that they don't even question, you know, oh yeah, Feeney made that call, must be a good call. So yeah, that was Bob. So the direction and the passion. So as an official, so there's a young man over here, Cole Haverdale, that when he was 8 years old, he used to come to Scotty Merritt's and I would be doing matches up in Marion where J.C. Ratliff and all those guys are. And he was saying, hey, this guy made a wrong call or this guy made a wrong call. The hell you know, you're 8 years old, but he did. So he started hanging out with us and so when we got a picture, I love this picture. He's 8 years old and me, and he's in my uniform, he's got my armbands on, he's got a whistle. And when he was 14, I talked to Ohio High School to let him become official. He was the youngest official ever in Ohio High School. And he's still doing officiating today. He's down South Carolina these days anymore, but you know, he's doing it. But he was the first 16-year-old to be able to do a varsity match too. And what's really great about that is Bo Rugg called me and he goes, hey, if you're going to let him, I'll let him do it, but only, did he take a class and did you teach him? And that was such a thing for me that Bo trusted me that much to be able to take a young man like that and put him on the mat and be able to go make those calls. I like officiating. I got back into it last year when I got a call that said, hey, you got to come to a middle school tournament. I hadn't been on the mat for 5 years. And he goes, well, if you don't come, we can't have the tournament. So what you're telling me is there's going to be no rotation? I'm going to be on the mat all damn day, and in middle school too. The first 15 matches are pins. That's up and down, up and down, up and down. So thank God for CBD oil. I put it on my hips. The next weekend, St. Ed's called me and said, hey, we want you to go up and do a match. I go, are you nuts? But they said, no, come up, we heard your back. So I went up and did that, and Heffernan's in the locker room, and I had this lotion on and it smelled, and Heffernan goes, Feeney, is that been gay? And, but it helped, so I'm still back. So with the grace of God, I'm still on the mat. Hopefully we'll see it this year. I'm going to do a few things here and there. If I can get up, it's getting down is the easy part. It's getting up, that's the finish. You know, so, but I got to thank the committee and everybody for trusting me, the coaches, Nick Burgess. I talked to Nick a while ago and I said, do you remember back when I was a second year official? I had the ball through, tell him I wanted to do the Pickerington-Kilbourne match. He said, you're not ready. And then the following year, Penny Harris, who's here, and her husband went to Nick and said he is ready. And that was because of guys like Bob Triano. So I did those matches early on, matches I should never have done, but it got me to where I'm at. So with the NCAA and freestyle and Greco and Tyler Wiley over there who made me do Greco, and he gave me a lot of information about judgment, and you know, you just got to make those calls sometime. And you know, someone asked me one time, you know, what's the best call or the worst call? And I said, I don't know if I've ever made a great call or a bad call, or Andy says I'm stalling, but I called Andy on stalling a lot of times. But anyway, I thank everybody here. I thank my family, and I gotta just say this about my family, is the hours that officials spend, you're on the road a lot. I'm gone, I was gone so much in high school, and I know I missed a lot of my kids' stuff, and my wife's stuff, and family stuff. But they gave me the time to go do that. And 38 years later, I am, and I don't know if I deserve any of this crap, but I'm here, and I appreciate you guys, and thank you. So.